Your Honor. Mother, father, die. Yeah, I guarantee the court proceedings would be so fast. No need attorneys. My religious history is an interesting one. I'm Portuguese, so if you're Portuguese in Hawaii, the probability that you're Catholic is high. So I went Catholic school, St. Joseph, raised Catholic, and then I went off to college, and that's where I started to realize there's more religions than just Christianity. And I'm not a big mathematician, so I tried to avoid statistics and chemistry and science. And so the only two majors left for me was psychology and theology. So I majored in psychology and I minored in theology. And I took a course on Hinduism, which is, some claim to say it's the oldest religion. And interesting Hinduism. Learned about Vishnu. And then I took a course on Buddhism. And I love Buddhism. In fact, if there's any religion that is closely tied to the philosophies of psychology, it's Buddhism. Learned about nirvana and how to reach enlightenment, the Eightfold Path, desires cause suffering. That's true, by the way. And then I took another class on Judaism. And Judaism, being the foundation for Christianity. Learned about the Torah being the first 5 books of the Old Testament, which then the next class led into Christianity, which was an easy class for me. And then the final class was on Islam. And we learned about Ramadan and how there's so many different denominations, not just in Islam, but in Christianity. And so I got a pretty good understanding of world religions. And I began to think that maybe all high schools should offer world religions, just so that people can get a good perspective that, wow, many people believe in many different things. And sometimes it's good to kind of step out of yourself and step into the other person's perspective. Then I think you develop what I think is the most important word in the English language, and that is empathy. When people feel what other people feel, when teachers feel what students feel, they become better teachers. When a pastor or a reverend or a bishop can feel what the congregation feel, they become better at what they do. When our bosses feel what the workers feel, they become better bosses. When parents feel what their children feel, they become better parents. Even in the business community, when the business people feel what their customers feel, guess what? They make more money. Okay. And if our legislators can feel what we feel, maybe we get more resources. No. But empathy is key, and I think me taking those classes has really provided that base. And so, that's just the start of it. Then I graduated, and my first roommate was Mormon. And I got a better understanding of that belief. Second roommate was Jehovah's Witness. Interesting. They never have to knock on my door. I was living with them already. And then I had a Buddhist roommate right before I went, started working as a school counselor in Wahiawa and looking for one place. And this Buddhist guy, he needed one roommate. Very interesting. Then I got to show off a little bit of what the knowledge I know about Buddhism, but he really practiced it. Man, he would sit for hours, talk about patience. And I lived with him for 2 years, and the amazing part about it is he never tried to convert me, and I always wondered why. He never talked about his religion. And so finally, right before I was moving out, I said, hey, I gotta ask you this question. How come you never asked me about, to be Buddhist? And he says, because my role as a good Buddhist is to make you a better Catholic. Oh. I wanted to be Buddhist after that. Like, wow. Yeah. And then right before I got married, I moved in with 2 Muslims from Pakistan. And I lived with them for 2 years, and what an interesting religion. And then I realized, that there's so many religions in the world, and only about 2% are the extremists. Unfortunately, they get 98% of the media's attention. But most religions are good. Majority of religions. They're not just good for us, they're good for communities. And they're good for families. let's face it, we don't have enough psychologists and therapists to go around. And our churches, our bishops, pastors, priests, they provide their congregation with the kind of support that nobody else can provide, through faith. So I really appreciate my experiences I've had with different people, the studies that I've been through, and so I'm a work in progress when it comes to religion. And I'm still learning about religion. My videographer is Jewish, Rosenthal. I mean, that's as Jewish as you're going to get. And we talk about religion a lot. And so what I try to give my kids is perspective and the understanding that, there's something that's more important than being right, and that is being happy, being connected. And what's great about Hawaii is we're so diverse, not just in ethnicity, but in religion. And I think that's great. I think we are an example to the world. But nonetheless, sooner or later, we got to decide what we are. So I went online. If you don't know, I never know you could go online to figure out what you are. There's a religious test. So a couple years back, I went online because I was really struggling with. I get so much knowledge about so much different religions, and I just wanted to get a better sense of what I am. So get 20 questions. So the first question, and now get all these religions. You got to picture this: over 3,000 or 4,000 religions, all kind of like very small, all above, and then the test is on the bottom. And they asked you 20 questions. And the first question was, do you take the Bible literally or figuratively? And they give examples like, did God create the earth in 7 days? Maybe it was 10. So I said, I think I take the Bible figuratively more than literally. So I pressed figuratively. All of a sudden, 600 religions off the screen. I get in there. Then they go, next question. You think Jesus Christ had a girlfriend? Or maybe not? Or, I had to ponder this. I think, he was a good-looking guy, tall, kind of strappy. I think maybe plenty of girls don't like him. I think, maybe, I'm not sure. So maybe, wow, all of a sudden, 600 religions off the screen, including Catholicism. Oh my gosh. So it's like, wow, hey, this is happening real fast, I get nervous. I look in the back, making sure my mother don't stay. Wow. Next question, they go, how did Mary give birth, and how did she get pregnant? And I started, was it an immaculate conception, and all these little things. I clicked the button, 400 religions off the screen. I'm down to only 1,000 religions, and not even the fourth question. And I keep going, and then I think my wife come in the room. She said, "What you doing?" I said, "I'm doing this religious test." She go, "Oh, you gotta take one test." Next question was something about if you get smacked in the face, would you A, turn the other cheek? Would you B, the karmatic principle, no worry about it, because what goes around comes around. That person, he'll have his day. Would you get revenge? I put karma, no worry, let him go. That person, he's gonna get his day. 600 religions off the screen. My wife getting nervous. She said, "Stop ready to become atheist." Anyway, I keep working the way, I keep working down the list, and come to find out, I'm unorthodox Quaker. I'm not even one regular Quaker. I'm an unorthodox Quaker. So for about 2 years now, I've been trying to search the Big Island for other unorthodox Quakers. I can find some. If you know anybody who's an unorthodox Quaker, I'd like to talk story with them. I think we have similar views. So I need to learn more about that religion. But hey, religion is good. All religion is good. Why? Because it provides our kids mostly with standards, and beliefs. And let's face it, if you don't stand for something, then you're going to fall for anything. And our kids got to have standards. We got to have standards as a community. Again, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And I want to make sure my kids, when they go to college, and they got to choose between, left and right, what road they go. I like them to go back to the standards that we provided for them. And it can be religious standards, can be cultural standards, but you gotta have standards. And I don't know, not one, every religion I know has standards. And so religion is good. Let's keep our interfaith community strong. Let us continue to be connected. That's important. And respecting each other's differences, not just tolerating each other's differences, but really accepting each other's differences is key. I don't like the word tolerance. We tolerate barking dogs, crying babies, but we shouldn't tolerate each other. I think we should accept each other and agree to disagree, and that's fine. I'm in an interracial marriage, interfaith marriage. Makes my marriage interesting. And I've been married almost 20 years now. Why? Because of the other most important word in the English language is love. I think love can transcend all kinds of differences. Love can bring people together. Love softens people. And if we just keep that as our base, I think we're going to be okay. So with that, I love you folks. Have a great morning. Aloha.
We do it alien style. From the mountain to the ocean, from the windward to the leeward side.